Continuing from the previous episode 1240. Boy, don't be afraid to flash your tongue when the wind is blowing. Since you want to die, then I will fulfill you. Tu Lai. Deacon Yi looked at Xiaoyan's extremely arrogant aura, and let out a loud shout, and then the dazzling khaki-yellow aura slowly attached to his body. He is an Earth-type powerhouse, his strength has reached the middle stage of 2 Star Douxian, and his fighting skills are also quite powerful. Be careful, sir. The injured woman cast a glance at Xiaoyan in black robe, her eyebrows turned slightly. I don't know why, this Xiaoyan's strength hidden under the black robe, he can't even see through it, and there is even a sense of fear, and he doesn't know where it comes from. You can rest in peace, I can deal with this guy. Xiaoyan looked at Deacon Yi, who was agitated, without thinking much, and said something to the rear. Xiaoyan is now a fighting spirit, the first change of the dragon god, plus the physical strength is enough to compare with the average 2-star fighting immortal late stage. If even a 2-star fighting immortal mid-stage is unable to deal with it, it would be a big joke. Yan too. Deacon Yi also vaguely felt that Xiaoyan's strength was not bad, so he didn't hold back and shouted loudly. The yellow sand under the feet of those few people directly formed a dazzling rock gun with a size of several dozen meters, with bursts of cold light, roaring towards Xiaoyan. Choke choke! Xiaoyan didn't panic. He gently took off the ancient ruler of Heng Huoheng from his back and held it in his hand. Doqi also flowed out of his body, and then he stabbed the rock spear suddenly. The gun disintegrated instantly. Fire element? Seeing his tyrannical rock spear being directly broken, Deacon Yi frowned. Obviously, fire can overcome earth, and earth can overcome fire. In the case of mutual attributes, only the level of strength can decide the outcome. Show your true skills. Otherwise, you don't even know how you died. Xiaoyan smiled slowly, but that smile made Deacon Yi chill, because there was a hint of danger in this smile. Boy, don't be too arrogant. Deacon Yi looked at Xiaoyan so arrogant and couldn't help but go berserk. Tu Lai. After drinking, the yellow sand on the ground suddenly slowly condensed under the eyes of Xiaoyan and the two of them. Be careful, this is the top fighting skill of the immortal rank, Rock Giant. The whole body of the rock giant is composed of earth attributes. The earth attribute is extremely terrifying in terms of defense. In addition to this fighting skill, the earth consolidates people. The rock giant is offensive and defensive. It has no way. The injured woman nodded slightly and said to Xiaoyan. Her own strength is impressively in the early stage of the 2-star Douxian, and she is also the one who has the right to speak in the family, but the food they ate yesterday was poisoned by these despicable people now, and they are no match. And this rock giant gave her a very heavy feeling just after it appeared. In addition, Xiaoyan took the lead to save her, and the injured woman couldn't help but say, "Don't worry." A smile slowly appeared on Xiaoyan's face hidden under the black robe. This rock giant is indeed tyrannical. If it is just relying on its defensive power, I am afraid that ordinary 2-star fighting immortals will not be its opponents, but it forgot that it is Xiaoyan that it has to deal with. Bang bang! The rock giant just appeared, and suddenly his hands slammed into his chest, letting out a roar that filled the sky, intending to tear Xiaoyan apart. Shabu shabu! Xiaoyan didn't want to waste time here, so he moved. The Yuoheng ancient ruler was held directly in his hand, and a dazzling fire-red battle chi emerged, covering Xiaoyan's whole body, like a flame elf, with a very fast speed, heading towards the rock giant. The fire attribute. It's self-destruction. Rock giant, tear him apart for me. Deacon Yi said with satisfaction as he looked at the rock giant he displayed, without worrying about Xiaoyan's actions at all, because this guy can obliterate a late 2-star fighting immortal, an early 2-star fighting immortal. In front of his rock giant, isn't that boy waiting to die like a weak woman with no strength? This guy is very strong. But that's it. Xiaoyan's figure moved quickly, and the next moment, he came directly in front of the rock giant and muttered slightly. Not good. Seeing Xiaoyan approaching the rock giant in an instant, as if he wanted to fight the rock giant head-on, the injured woman said angrily. No, this guy is here to save me, and he must not be allowed to have an accident. The injured woman looked at Xiaoyan and the rock giant facing each other at close range, as if it had already emerged in her mind. The next moment, Xiaoyan was completely photographed by the rock giant. Dead situation. Damn. Even though I took the antidote pill, my body didn't recover much vindictive qi. The injured woman just wanted to use her vindictive qi to help Xiao Yan, but she had no choice but to give up. If she was in the past, it would only add to Xiao Yan's burden. I hope you don't have an accident. The injured woman clenched her fists slightly and looked at Xiao Yan solemnly, while Xiao Yan was intent on dealing with the rock giant in front of him. Naturally, he did not know what the injured woman was thinking. It's almost there. Xiao Yan came to the rock giant, and then an extremely terrifying wave slowly emanated from the ancient ruler of the eternal fire. That kind of fluctuation is a bit like the taste of moving a ruler. Although the rank of the moving sky ruler is not high, it is practical, whether it is used to divert an attack or an offense, plus it is a combination of offense and defense, so it is very popular with Xiao Yan. Heaven-shifting ruler. In the next instant, the ancient ruler of eternal fire on Xiao Yan's palm suddenly burst into a burst of dazzling suction and flame energy, and then, under the surprised eyes of the injured woman, shot directly at the rock giant. Crash! The seemingly invincible rock giant just raised his huge palm and was about to slap Xiao Yan to death, but he was enveloped by this 100-jong-sized ruler, and the fiery red battle chi took the lead in destroying the rock giant. Its internal structure, the tyrannical attack of the moving sky ruler is attacking, and the combination of the two, the mighty rock giant is instantly penetrated, thus turning into boulders and falling down slowly dissipated in this piece of heaven and earth among. How could it be possible? Deacon Yi saw such a scene, a stunned expression slowly appeared in his heart, and then he ran away without hesitation. Where to run? Xiao Yan's soul power spread all over this Lois *** when he was fighting. Just as Deacon Yi fled, a tyrannical soul attack directly blocked his retreat. Don't let him go, otherwise, if the news is sent back by him, we will be in big trouble. The injured woman said hurriedly. Damn, what is this? Seeing that his escape was blocked, Deacon Yi couldn't help cursing in a low voice. Peefed. With a sound, an incomparably huge eternal fire ruler, with bursts of dazzling fiery red flames, completely pierced Deacon Yi's body. No. Deacon Yi, who was just thinking about how to break the *** of his soul and escape from here, did not find Xiao Yan's fierce attack, and was immediately pierced by the ancient ruler of the different fire, thus losing all his vitality. With Xiao Yan present, soul power and vindictiveness, Deacon Yi had no way out, and was completely obliterated by Xiao Yan without any effort. This guy, so strong. Looking at Deacon Yi, who fell like a dead dog in the sky, the injured woman's beautiful eyes turned slightly, and she couldn't help but glance at Xiao Yan. 3 shifts today, recommended ticket plus 2 more 5 more. I found that my normal workload is 4 to 5 more every day. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1241. Deacon Yi actually died? The other 3 men looked at Deacon Yi, who fell from the sky, couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva, and said slowly. Although Deacon Yi's strength is not the strongest among them, he is also a real 2-star fighting immortal mid-stage powerhouse. Even here, he cannot be underestimated, but where did he expect that he would be completely in the hands of a nobody? Fall. Bang bang bang. Xiao Yan was not a soft-hearted person either. Seeing Deacon Yi's figure fall, Yi Huo Heng's ancient ruler was pulled out, and with a sudden turn, he immediately wiped out the other 3. I still underestimated the anti-shock power of this rock giant. After killing the 4 of them completely, Xiao Yan slowly landed on the ground and muttered. Are you alright? The injured woman naturally noticed a trace of abnormality in Xiao Yan's body, and immediately asked. Ed with concern. It's alright, Xiao Yan said softly, and then Do Qi surged in his body, directly burning the bodies of the 4 without leaving any traces. When the injured woman saw Xiao Yan's actions, she couldn't help but become even more curious about Xiao Yan. After all, having such a tyrannical strength and temperament, it can be seen that the identity of this guy is definitely not low. When you go out and kill the powerhouses of other forces, you must burn their corpses. This is obviously a well-known fact. After all, the people in their forces have soul records in their respective forces. If they don't burn their bodies now, the forces behind them will naturally find them easily, and it will be much more troublesome then. My name is Yu Wei, from Yicheng Yuzong. I don't know, Your Excellency. The injured woman spoke softly, and a silver bell-like voice sounded slowly. After dealing with the 4 figures, Xiao Yan carefully began to look at the injured woman in front of him. An inexplicable fragrance slowly radiated from Yue's body. She was wearing a jacket and skirt, showing off her bumpy figure to the fullest. In addition to the strength of the two Star Douxian in the early stage, this Yue might have a high status in the Yu sect. I'm just a nameless person. I went out to travel, but I lost my way. Since the girl is talking about the people of Yicheng Yuzong, can you guide me? Xiao Yan was wearing a black robe. Naturally he was not afraid of Yue's recognition. What happened? When I heard that this girl was from Yicheng Yuzong, I couldn't help being overjoyed. In this radius of hundreds of kilometers, only Yicheng is a large city, and the space teleportation formation is also inhabited in this city. Xiao Yan naturally wants to go to Yicheng to use the space transmission formation to reach the place where the ratio of Dongzhou is reached. Your Excellency saved me, so it's not enough to lead the way. But, Yu Weibei bit her lips slightly, looking hesitant. Is there anything else? Xiao Yan turned his head and asked. Ed, Your Excellency also went to Yicheng to take the space teleportation formation to Dongzhou to participate in the ratio of Dongzhou. The next moment, Yue seemed to have decided something, and asked. Ed expectantly. Why, you have to ask. About this kind of thing? Xiao Yan was a little unhappy, and obviously had some opinions on Yue. After all, this kind of thing is his own private matter, and there is no need to tell others. No, Your Excellency has misunderstood. There is indeed a space teleportation formation in Yicheng, but recently because there are too many people using it, the space teleportation formation is in chaos and cannot be used. Yu Wei hurriedly explained for fear of Xiao Yan's misunderstanding. No way. Yicheng is the only city closest to him that has a space teleportation formation. If this is broken, I'm afraid that just rushing on the road will not keep up with the ratio of Dongzhou. Xiao Yan was silent. Obviously there was nothing he could do for a while. Your Excellency, don't be discouraged. This time, it's our Yuzong's turn to manage the space teleportation formation. We have collected materials for repairing the space teleportation formation and are going to return to the city to repair the space teleportation formation. Seeing Xiao Yan's silence, Yue opened her mouth. Is this true? Xiao Yan was slightly overjoyed when he heard the words. However, on the way, I encountered some trouble. Yue said, her voice full of helplessness. For example, these 4 people. Xiao Yan could naturally guess that the Kuyejai power that Deacon Yi mentioned just now might have something to do with the Yuzong mentioned by the woman in front of him. In Yicheng, the 2 most powerful forces are our Yuzong and Kuyejai, and the management rights of space teleportation will be exchanged every 10 years after years of competition. And this year, it happened to be the 2nd year of our Yuzong management period. There was a problem with the space teleportation array when the people of Kuyejai occupied our management period, which forced us to hand over the management rights. We refused, thus causing 2 strengths. Fight openly and secretly. Yue said, this guy, there should be something unspeakable. Xiao Yan couldn't help muttering as he looked at Yue, who told him the details one by one. Obviously, there is no one who will face each other, and it is the person who has completely escaped. This Yue is like this. I am afraid she wants something. And my father, as the sect master of Yuzong, naturally maintains order in Yicheng, and my sister and I went out of the city to collect materials for the repair of the space teleportation formation. On the way back, we encountered the interception of their Kuyejai. Yue said, my sister's life and death are unknown now. I beg you to save her. The materials for repairing the space teleportation array are also on my sister. If something happens to my sister, I'm afraid you can't go to Dongzhou to participate in the competition. The next moment, Yue's mood was broken, and she faced Xiao Yan with a crying voice. Growled. Yue, who was fine before, suddenly looked like this, making Xiao Yan a little dumbfounded. Yes, I'm sorry for my rudeness. Yue apologized slightly, and said to Xiao Yan with a tear in her red pupils. It's alright, the medicinal power of the Jidu pill has worked. After a few minutes, the toxins in your body will dissipate. You should restore your vindictive energy first. Xiao Yan said with a smile. Yue nodded lightly when she heard the words, but she felt a little bit of loss in her heart. It seemed that she still looked down on Xiao Yan, and then she could only rely on herself to reply to her vindictiveness. After all, the enemy that my sister had to deal with, but not the middle stage of the 2-star fighting immortals. Your Excellency, if you go straight on this road for 10 miles, you will be able to see Yicheng. I still have something to do. I will not be with you. After Yu Wei finished speaking, the blue vindictive aura appeared slightly, and she hurriedly faced the other opposite. Run in the direction. You're really impatient, let's go together. Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly and said, but he was extremely depressed, so he wouldn't beg for help. Your Excellency is willing to go with me? The sense of loss was instantly replaced by surprise, and then Yu Wei said very excitedly. Let's go, I just need to use the space teleportation formation to go to Dongzhou, so I'm still in a hurry. Xiao Yan said with a smile. Thank you. Yu Wei's face flushed. She didn't know whether it was because Xiao Yan agreed to go with her or for other reasons. But Yu Wei is clear that the man in black robe in front of him has a faint aura that is comparable to a peerless beast. Even an ordinary 2-star fighting immortal mid-stage powerhouse does not have this kind of aura. Not to mention that this guy is just a powerhouse in the early stage of 2-star fighting immortals. Full Book M. Continuing from the previous episode 1242. Broken Soul Cave. This is a cave with a complex terrain. There are countless undulating dark passages and some sharp stones in the cave, which make this cave quite peculiar. Third young master, that little girl Yu Wei, Deacon Yi has already brought someone to hunt him down. I believe there will be no problem. Several figures in blue clothes said directly to an imposing man in front of him. This group of figures is impressively the current Kuyejai people in Yucheng, and the leader is Yi Sheng, the third young master in Kuyejai, a strong man who has reached the late 2-star fighting immortal stage. Originally, this Yicheng was the world of their Kuyejai, but unfortunately, a rain sect appeared halfway, thus dividing the fertile land of Yicheng into half, but unfortunately the fighting strength of the two forces is similar. Kuyejai can only secretly to deal with Yuzong. I dare not come forward. Yu Wei's strength is only in the early stage of 2-star Douxian, and Deacon Yi's strength is in the middle stage of 2-star Douxian. In addition to Yu Wei's poisoning, her strength is greatly reduced, so it shouldn't be difficult to catch her. Yi Sheng said slightly, Third young master, I searched all over the Broken Soul Cave, but I couldn't find Yu Ran. After a while, a few more people walked up slowly and said to Yi Sheng. Strange, these Yuzong sisters went out to find materials for repairing the space teleportation formation, but we Kuyejai's undercover in Yuzong told us that their whereabouts were undoubtedly exposed, but how? Come on, seal up the entire Broken Soul Cave for me. They are highly poisoned and have no food, so I don't believe how long they can last. Yi Sheng has an extremely sharp mind, and he was aware of the reason in just an instant. Yes! Everyone heard the words and scattered away. Hey, Yu Ran, when my father proposed to you, Yu Zong, if you married me, there would not be so much trouble. Our Yicheng Kuyejai's reputation is not comparable to a foreign family like you. And that girl Yu Wei, when I capture you, you must have a good time. He. There was no one around, and gloomy laughter slowly came out. At this time, in a very dark and hidden place in the Broken Soul Cave, several figures appeared here. Sister Ran, are you all right? In the darkness, a man asked Yu Ran with the help of the luster of the spar in the CC cave. I'm fine. Yu Ran bit Bei's lips at this time. Her face was pale, and her whole body was quite uncomfortable, but she said forcibly calmly. These crumbs, our Yuzong went out to find materials for repairing the space formation. Only the high-level members of our Yuzong knew. How can this guy from the Dry Leaf Jai seem to have known it for a long time, after we obtained the materials, shot and killed? A dark figure shouted directly. This man is impressively the vice-captain of this team, Yu Feng, a strong man who is also in the late stage of the 2-star Douxian. Captain Yu, I think there may be traitors from Q Jai in our Yu sect. This time, when we go back, we must investigate carefully. Yu Ran opened his mouth. Now Duanhun Cave is surrounded by people from Kuyejai, and although Yu Wei escaped, she was chased by Deacon Yi. I'm afraid. The next moment, Yu Feng's face also became gloomy. Their team consisted of 20 people at the beginning. Among them, Yu Feng and Yu Ran, two of the late 2-star Douxian powerhouses, took the lead. They could also walk sideways near Yicheng, but they were getting the repair space teleportation array. On the way home from the legal materials, the people in Kuyejai unknowingly gave him poison. Although the poison is not deadly, it limits their strength more and more as time goes on. After being poisoned, fortunately they discovered it in time. Before the medicinal power was dissipated, a battle broke out between Yuzong and Kuyejai's men, and they escaped into the Broken Soul Cave. Let their Yuzong troops suffer heavy losses. Yufeng, how many people do we have now? After a while, Yu Ran seemed to think of something and asked. Sister Ran, we have only 10 people now, and the 2-star fighting immortals are only you and me, and the others are all 1-star fighting immortals. But the Kuyejai men and horses that killed us were full of 2 late-stage 2-star Douxian powerhouses, and the poison on our bodies, in a one-on-one situation, I'm afraid they won't be their opponents. At most, the 2 of us will join forces to stop one of them. Yufeng said gloomily, I'll show up for a while to attract everyone's attention in Kuyejai. You go back first with the materials for repairing space transmission. As long as the space teleportation can be repaired, this trip will not be in vain. Yu Ran seemed to have made a decision and said directly. No, Sister Ran, Yi Sheng, the 3rd young master of Kujai, has a notorious reputation. If you are captured by him, she might do something shameful to her. I absolutely disagree with this matter. Although Yufeng was gentle, he protested directly in the face of Yu Ran's instructions. In the Rain sect, Yu Ran has always been a steward-like existence, worried about the big and small matters within the sect, and is extremely easygoing. This is an order. Seeing Yufeng's disapproval, Yu Ran hurriedly spoke. Sister Ran, needless to say, Yuzong can do without us, but not without you. Don't worry, on the day we joined Rain sect, we already had our consciousness. I and the rest of my brothers are responsible for attracting their attention. Sister Ran, you should take the materials and leave first. Yufeng laughed, but his voice was filled with a taste of life and death. Yufeng, for Yu Ran, it is not only a heart of admiration, but also a kind of protection. Although Yufeng has good strength, but his status is low, I am afraid that he will not be able to marry Yu Ran in this life, but for Yufeng, even if he can't have it, protection is a kind of love in disguise. Right, I agree too. Yufeng's voice just fell, and the other subordinates around him nodded. You guys. Yu Ran couldn't help being dumbfounded by the actions of the others. Who? Before everyone could act, their voices were discovered. Yu Ran's delicate body exploded instantly, and then suddenly attacked the Kujai disciple who was in charge of patrolling. Btth2, the disciple of Kuyejai, was directly obliterated by Yu Ran, but in that hand, a loud arrow shot up into the sky, and the loud sound directly filled the dark space. Damn, the strength is too obvious, it's still a step too late. Yu Ran's face was extremely pale, and she hid the body of this Kujai disciple, and said slightly. Yu Ran, it can be considered that I have found you. The sound was naturally discovered by Yi Sheng and his party, and then the figure swept away, facing the place where the sound was heard. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1243. Damn, our whereabouts have been exposed. Yufeng couldn't help but look ugly when he heard the harsh voice. The people of Kuyejai did not know what poison they had given to them. Their strength was suppressed by an extremely tyrannical force, and every time they used Do Qi, their body would immediately suffer a terrifying torture. Furthermore, as time passed, their strength will be temporarily sealed. At this time, the only 2 strong 2-star fighting immortals among the 10 people, who originally possessed the strength of the late 2-star fighting immortals, were abruptly suppressed to the middle 2-star fighting immortals, and their aura was also very sluggish. Hey, it's raining. It's really been a long time. In the next moment, several figures appeared directly. Yi Sheng, you're deceiving people too much. Yu Ran forcefully said calmly. Hey, the woman I liked by Yi Sheng, but no one can run away. Yi Sheng laughed. 3rd young master, the strength of these 2 guys should not be underestimated. Let's fight quickly. The next moment, an old man next to Yi Sheng said slowly. 5th elders, leave these 2 guys to me, you just need to be on guard. Yi Sheng smiled. He is the strength of the late 2-star fighting immortal, and although Yufeng and Yu Ran's strength is also the late 2-star fighting immortal, but after the poison, the strength of the 2 is only the middle 2-star fighting immortal. With his own strength, not to mention dealing with 2 middle-stage 2-star Douxian powerhouses, or even 5 of them. Sister Ran, you go first. Yufeng saw this, his figure flickered, he came directly in front of Yu Ran, pushed him away, and turned out to be trying to use his grudge to send Yu Ran out of the battle circle. It's really true love in adversity. But I won't give you this chance. Yi Sheng naturally wouldn't give the two of them this chance to escape. After all, this time he brought the 5 elders with him. Second, it is also to repair the materials of the space teleportation formation. With that thing, the senior management of their Qi can force Yuzong to hand over the management rights of the space transmission formation, and lose the management right of the space transmission formation. Qi is able to devour Yuzong little by little. Crash! Yi Sheng waved his sleeves directly, and suddenly a tyrannical beam of light suddenly disappeared towards the space where Yu Ran had left. Damn! Seeing that the retreat was blocked, Yu Feng shouted angrily. Yu Ran, hand it over to me, I'll give you a treat. Yi Sheng completely blocked Yu Ran's escape route and spoke immediately. You, dreaming. Yu Ran faced Yi Sheng and smiled. You're courting death. Yi Sheng was furious when he heard the words. His figure instantly turned into a stream of light, and then he hid in the darkness and swept away towards the rain. Where did Yi Sheng go? Seeing Yi Sheng act like this, Yu Feng was also at a loss. I didn't expect you to be a rare dark type. Yu Ran didn't move, but her eyes kept sweeping slightly towards the dark space. Darkness, with the help of this dark space, the traces of its silhouettes are slowly merging, making it difficult for everyone to detect with the naked eye. Enjoy the embrace of darkness. Yi Sheng's voice sounded, but this time he didn't know where it sounded. It came from all directions in the darkness. Hee, the third young master's use of the dark system is really consummate, and I'm afraid it will be able to shine in the next East Continent ratio. The 5th elder on the side said with a smile. Black dark palm. Just when a touch of fear filled the hearts of everyone, a fierce wind breaking sounded directly in the dark void. Btth. Although Yu Ran's strength is tyrannical, but under the influence of poison, and this broken soul cave is Yi Sheng's home court, he did not find Yi Sheng's voice for a while, and was hit by such a tyrannical blow, he endured suddenly a mouthful of blood spurted out. Sister Ran. Seeing Yu Ran being hit so hard, Yu Feng and the others couldn't help roaring. It's raining, it's just like that. Die. Seeing that Yu Ran did not evade his attack, a mouthful of blood spewed out, Yi Sheng laughed loudly, and then the strength in his body was condensed, and he wanted to deliver a fatal blow to him. Dark Priest. Ming Zi. A roar resounded throughout the entire space. Yi Sheng's voice just fell, and suddenly the entire space was filled with an extremely strange force, as if it wanted to devour everyone. What happened? The rock under our feet seems to be devouring our body and strength? A voice of fear came directly from the remaining members of Yuzong's mouth. It's actually Ming Zi. It seems that the 3rd young master is preparing for a quick battle. After all, this move has wiped out the real 2-star fighting immortal late-stage powerhouse. At this time, it is more than enough to deal with them. The 5th elder said slowly. Die. Those who are dragged down by my Mingze will have their souls swallowed up. Ha. In the darkness, Yi Sheng's voice full of laughter. Yi Sheng, stop me. Just when Yi Sheng felt that the victory was in his hands, a sweet voice emerged. Yue, why are you coming back? Yu Ran's body was being slowly swallowed by Ming Zi, but she was shocked when she heard this voice. She and Yue are sisters from the beginning, so she can't go wrong with her sister Yue's voice. Sister, Yue just showed up, and she hurried away towards you regardless. You've thrown yourself into the net, let's die. Yi Sheng couldn't figure out why Yue came back here, but Deacon Yi didn't come back, but it didn't matter. After they were completely swallowed by Mingze, they would all be theirs. Slow down link to www.novelmtl.com why are you walking so fast? From behind, a complaining voice sounded slowly. You Ming Tian trance, break it for me. Xiao Yan also took off his black robe along the way. At this time, he just appeared in the dark space, and a delicate face slowly came into everyone's sight. As soon as Xiao Yan's voice fell, an incomparably huge soul force suddenly emerged from the spiritual palace within the body, and then walked away to Yi Sheng, who was hiding in the darkness and performing fighting skills. The appearance of Xiao Yan's soul attack filled this dark space with light, and Yi Sheng's body was actually very close to Yu Ran. Btth. Yi Sheng didn't have time to be surprised, and suddenly a mouthful of blood spurted out. Even Ming Zi, who was about to devour the crowd, was self-destructed and slowly dissipated. How can it be? Wonderland soul. Being attacked by such a tyrannical soul, Yi Sheng's pupils shrank tightly, and a touch of fear emerged in his heart. Xiao Yan's sudden soul attack just now was enough to inflict tyrannical damage on Yi Sheng. This guy, so strong. Looking at the smiling young man in the sky, and the group of Yuzong below, they couldn't help looking at each other. Sister, it's all right. This guy is the rescuer I invited. With him there, it's fine. Yu Wei said slightly, and then she turned her attention to Xiao Yan. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1244. Third young master, are you all right? This sudden scene made the others in Kuyajai not react. When they reacted, in this dark space, Xiao Yan's whole body had been given the power of his soul. The embellishment was extraordinarily bright, and they saw that Yi Sheng was lying on the ground with a rather painful appearance. 5 elders, kill this guy for me. Yi Sheng was hit by Xiao Yan's tyrannical soul attack, and he was directly injured. This made Yi Sheng seem to be going crazy. Xiao Yan's soul attack was inherently tyrannical, not to mention that Xiao Yan's soul power had already reached the fairyland at this time, and the soul attack he issued was enough to easily obliterate some ordinary powerhouses. It seems that the soul attack can kill the powerhouses in the middle stage of the 2-star Douxian. It's still too reluctant to kill the powerhouses in the late stage of the 2-star Douxian. Xiao Yan shook his head slowly, and then went directly to Yu Ran and the others. Fire-red flames illuminate the interior. Captain Yufeng, this is the detoxification pill. I'll share it with everyone. The next moment, Yu Wei took out a few pills from the ring and handed them to Yufeng. Okay. Yufeng didn't hesitate, just reached out to take it, and then distributed it to everyone. 5 elders, this guy is very strong. Yu Ran had just swallowed the antidote, and suddenly felt that the toxins in her body were slowly weakening, but with the help of a woman's intuition, she said to Xiao Yan in front of her. He's very strong, and he killed Deacon Yu with one move. Yu Wei whispered. Hearing this, Yu Ran naturally knew her sister's character. She was pure and flawless and would not take too much into consideration, but Yu Ran herself knew that the soul attack of Xiao Yan just now seriously injured Yu Sheng in an instant. This means, this Xiao Yan is also an extremely dangerous character. Little bastard. After a while, the 5th elder gave Yi Sheng a brief treatment of the injury, and then stared at Xiao Yan fiercely. Little bastard, it's so ruthless as soon as you shoot it. Attack someone else's soul and cause damage to the foundation, just use your life to pay for it. The 5th elder shouted loudly, and then his body vibrated violently. Fire attribute? Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh when he saw the fighting spirit emerging from the body of the 5 elders. Yi Sheng's strength may be regarded as just entering the late stage of the 2-star Douxian. But the 5 elders in front of him are genuine 2-star fighting immortal late stage, and even reached the peak of 2-star fighting immortal late stage. Just one step away is enough to step into 2-star fighting fairy consummation. This kind of powerhouse is for the current Xiao Yan. Still a little tricky. However, if the attribute of the 5 elders is the fire attribute, the threat will be greatly reduced. After all, Xiao Yan himself devoured the strange fire and the holy flame, and his body had already produced a lot of antibodies to the flame. You can't hurt yourself. Be careful, Your Excellency. This guy is the 5th elder of Qijai. Although both of them are in the late stage of 2-star Douxian, their strength is much more tyrannical than Yi Sheng. Yu Ran couldn't help but instructed. You can rest in peace. Leave it to me. Xiao Yan smiled slowly. Little bastard, accept your life. The 5th elder did not give Xiao Yan any chance. A dazzling attack suddenly brewed in his hand, and then a flaming spear slowly appeared in his hand. With fire condensate, this guy also has a deep understanding of the use of fire attributes. Xiao Yan said with a smile. Yi Wo Eternal Ancient Ruler. Xiao Yan shouted loudly, and then the dazzling fire attribute also permeated the Yi Wo Eternal Ancient Ruler, and then faced the 5th elder seriously. Are you also a fire attribute? The 5th elder was just about to attack, but found a fiery red fire attribute fighting chi on Xiao Yan's body. I don't know why. This fiery red fire attribute fighting chi actually made his own fighting chi slightly fear. And even issued a burst of fear. Be quiet for me. The 5th elder shouted loudly, and then his figure was as fast as a ghost, holding a spear in his hand, and assassinating Xiao Yan. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yan was also full of tyrannical oppression when facing the fifth elders. This oppression came from the suppression of his own strength in the later stage of the two-star fighting immortals. Chuck! The sound of metal collisions slowly filled the space. The battle between Xiao Yan and the five elders was inextricable for a while. This little beast can actually deal with the attack of the fifth elder so calmly. Yi Sheng, whose foundation was severely damaged, was in extreme pain at this time, and couldn't help but muttered. "Sister, the two of them, who will win?" Yu Wei asked, apparently seeing the intractable battle between Xiao Yan and the two of them. "No, I don't know." But Yu Renren was at a loss at this time, because with her tyrannical strength, she could vaguely sense that the battle between Xiao Yan and the fifth elder seemed to be a one-sided massacre. In other words, the current Xiao Yan is just defensive, not attacking. On the other hand, the fifth elder, all kinds of tyrannical attacks are emerging one after another, but they are still blocked by Xiao Yan. "This guy, it's not easy." Yu Renren murmured a little, and then she was no longer distracted. She had the medicinal power of antidote, and with her own catalysis, it would undoubtedly be able to eliminate toxins faster, and she recovered with peace of mind. "Own grudge. Old guy, you've been playing for so long, how cool is it?" The battle lasted almost 10 minutes, during which Xiao Yan was passively defending and didn't make a move. The reason for this was that Xiao Yan wanted to adapt to his two-star Douxian as soon as possible. Initial strength. "You monster!" The fifth elder couldn't help but let out a foul language. Is this Xiao Yan a monster? He is a powerhouse in the late two-star Douxian stage, but no matter how tyrannical the attack hits Xiao Yan, it is like playing a family, and even Xiao Yan's fur can't be hurt. However, the fifth elders did not know that because Xiao Yan devoured many different fires and holy flames, the kind of crisis he faced when he devoured life was worse than death makes Xiao Yan more and more resistant to fire attributes. It can be said unceremoniously that facing a fire-type powerhouse, not to mention that Xiao Yan is only in the early stage of two-star Douxian, and even facing the initial stage of three-star Douxian is nothing to be afraid of. And if the fifth elder's Douqi attribute is replaced by other, the strength of the two-star Douxian in the later stage will undoubtedly pose a stronger threat to Xiao Yan, but unfortunately, he is a fire. It's over with one blow. Xiao Yan seemed to have adapted to some of the power in his body, and then the ancient ruler of different fires shone brightly, and an even more terrifying power of flames instantly entangled up. How is that possible? The fifth elder couldn't help but lose his voice when he saw the tyrannical power of flame in Xiao Yan's hands. If it is said that his fire attribute fighting immortal power is 1, then the power of fighting immortals displayed by Xiao Yan at this time may have reached 3 times his own, or even stronger. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler. 7 feet out. Kill it for me. Xiao Yan's mouth curled into a dangerous arc, and then he raised the ancient ruler of different fires high, and 7 tyrannical flames suddenly attacked the fifth elder. The power of the 7th layer breaking sky ruler may not be strong, but the most deadly thing is Xiao Yan's fire attribute. Seeing this, the fifth elder couldn't help but use all his powers. Because he knew that Xiao Yan's fire attribute was much more tyrannical than his own, and if he couldn't hold the 7 flames, he would probably fall to the ground. End of this chapter.